my next anime review, I am doing Only Yesterday. This film originally came out in 1999, so this film is over 30 years old, so it's got some age to it. This film is done by Studio Ghibli, and this film is rated G. This film is a anomaly for me because for the most part, I watch a Studio Ghibli film and I normally don't rate a Ghibli film below an 8. And this is one of those rare films in their catalog where where unfortunately it is below an 8 for me. And that is all because of the second act of this film. The middle portion of this film drags its feet, and that portion of the film almost ruins this film for me. Thankfully the third act resolves those issues and it ends on a very strong note, thankfully. But my main issues with the second act is the pacing is awful. It's some of the worst I've seen in a Ghibli film, which is odd because I really don't have those issues with Ghibli's film catalog. Even something like Grave of the Fireflies, the pacing was perfect in my opinion in that film, and this is the first film of Studio Ghibli's catalog to where the pacing in the middle portion of this film is bad. And something else I will say is some of the character designs with the children in this film, a few in particular, are ugly looking. Unfortunately, this film is kind of rudderless in the middle portion of this film where it feels like this movie just does not know where it wants to go up until the third act. And once you hit the third act, that's when everything starts coming together and the movie, like I said, the movie ends very well. This movie starts off very strong and it ends on a very strong note, and because of that, it's strange. That's what makes this film an anomaly for me, because I've never had this issue with any of Studio Ghibli's other works. This film also has a way of telling the story. It basically tells past and present. It does something in a similar way that Grave of the Fireflies did, by telling the story while the characters are during presently, but also telling part of the film through backstory, through memories and reminiscing. So in that regard, I do see the similarities between Grave of the Fireflies and Only Yesterday. And well, one is a rather wholesome film, while the others, being Grave of the Fireflies, is one of the most tragic films I've ever watched. If you go back and watch my review, you can see my full thoughts on Grave of the Fireflies. Like I said earlier in this review, this film is not bad. It's just got some issues that bring this film down for me, and I am still glad I watched it because it's a Studio Ghibli film, and it's still, even with those issues, it's still a good film. So my final score for Studio Ghibli's Only Yesterday is a 7 out of 10, with some caveats. If you are a fan of Studio Ghibli who has seen plenty of their films, I will say this film is still worth watching. But if you have yet to watch Studio Ghibli's catalog of films, I would not start with this one yet. I would start out with some of their best work and then work down the line. That way you can get a good appreciation of Ghibli's work and just how good their films are. Because if you start out with Only Yesterday, I feel like this could potentially drive people away because they could just be bored. And yeah, so yeah, those are my overall thoughts on Only Yesterday. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, if you've seen this film or not. Anyway, as always, I want to thank you so much for watching my reviews. And as always, this has been Ryder.